Hello, everyone. What a wonderful day to get the band back together. Because if you haven't heard the news already, something amazing happened overnight. Of course, we are back together to celebrate Microsoft's annual event. AP, Fletch, are you just as excited as I am?
Very excited, to be honest.
Just a bit, just a little.
Very excited.
Yeah,
And
I wanted to make loud noises, but I didn't want to break everyone's ear at the same time, so I thought better of it.
That is
Why
a good
not?
decision, Fletch. A good decision for sure. We are so excited to recap everything that happened with everybody. Andre, welcome to the chat, my friend. Always a pleasure to see you. But, you know, in the words of Satya Nadella, this is significant as the PC was in the 80s, the web was in the 90s, mobile was in the 20s, and cloud was in the 2010s. So Microsoft have announced that they are releasing 150 new features into Windows 11. Fletch, you're the man driving the stream today. Would you like to roll that video clip for us to start us off strong with a hype reel of what's coming?
I do better when you do better. You do better when I do better. Better as one, yeah, better together. When you do better. Rising up, we come together, yeah, taking center stage. It's her time, yeah, time for her to shine, she be on her way. Rising up, we come together, yeah, taking center stage. It's her time, yeah, time for her to shine, she be on her way. Keep it moving, yeah, watch me dance. Shout out loud, yeah, champion sound. It's a renegade anthem, shout out proud. Rising up, we come together, yeah, taking center stage. It's her time, yeah, time for her to shine, she be on her way. Rising up, we come together, yeah, taking center stage. It's her time, yeah, time for her to shine, she be on her way. Watch the gal just go, 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 stand up, let's go, 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 take over like go, 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 rise up, let's go, 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 go. Rising up, we come together, yeah, taking center stage. It's her time, yeah, time for her to shine, she be on her way. Take over like go, 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 rise up, let's go.
When I say I've got chills, I think that's an understatement, right? Honestly, the amount of features and functionalities packed into one video is absolutely massive. And, you know, we do a little bit of pre-chat before this, plan out what we want to talk about and all of those things. And I think what I'm most excited about is with a video like that and all of the announcements that were made, you know, overnight for us, I think different things resonate with different people, right? I think we all notice slightly different things. We're like, oh, that's what I'm most looking forward to. Oh, that's what I'm most looking forward to. So AP, let's start with you, my friend, as the king of Windows. What are you most looking forward to?
Without sounding like Lisa Jones, everything. To be honest, it's just also awesome. I haven't been this excited about some Windows updates for a long time, to be totally honest. And it was a bit scary to know that for all of these sort of massive milestones, except for the 80s, I didn't have a computer in the 80s, that I was there for all of the rest of those kind of major developments. It is pretty exciting to sort of be in this space of this AI world. What I'm probably most excited about is the Copilot integration, which is probably no surprise. A lot of the people are pretty excited about that as well too. What I'm most excited about it is the integration with everything. So Copilot's going to be available to be rolling out on the 27th of September or start rolling out on the 27th of September to devices, and it's free for all Windows 11 users. And what I love about it is the integration, but also it's there to make the everyday easier for people virtually across anything in Windows 11. So it's not specific to an app, it's not specific to just being in the browser, which is really, really cool. And I find, and I've been using a little bit in the developer preview for a while, is that it's like your little co-pilot, it's like your little friend that's just sitting to the side, not interfering with your flow so much, but kind of adding helpful suggestions and sort of taking care of those menial day-to-day tasks, which I think is really, really useful. So for instance, it could be something like just copying text across from a web page, asking it to format it differently, or to summarize that information, or to do whatever. Like you saw in the video, hopefully you caught it, just grabbing an image from a website. And oftentimes, I don't know about you and the people watching too, I kind of want to use the image, but I don't need the background. Rather than having to open up or having to transition to something different, I can just go remove the background, or, copy it across to my clipboard, screen snap, all that kind of stuff, which is mega, right? And also I found myself through the time realizing that some of the suggestions I hadn't even thought of. I'm looking at Copilot's like, hey, do you want to do this with the text? I'm like, actually, yes, I do. I didn't even know that I wanted to do that stuff. So I can do that, which is really, really great. And the thing I also like about Copilot, and why I think is going to be core to the integration, is it's intelligent and it's contextual, right? So it's keeping up with what you're doing. You don't have to go back, or you don't have to start a new chain of chat to start to ask it to provide information that it's already aware of. And I think that's really killer. As well as that, using some other Windows tools, so like using the clipboard, you can go back and you can insert other text. Like we saw there, it's baked into the taskbar, so you can just use it, and you don't have to select any operation straight in the Copilot window. You can go, you know what, I just want you to summarize whatever I'm giving you, or I want you to rewrite it, or I want you to give me more information about that, which I think is really, really cool. And what it is it's not taking over, it's not doing stuff that we can't do. So for instance, this morning, even for this stream, there's a lot of information we know, and I wanted to kind of summarize the blog post, but I wanted it in a table, right? So I wanted it just so it's easy for me to read, to make sure I've got a reference point. So I just copied the text across. It actually prompted me to do that. And I said, look, can you format this into a table for me? I didn't have to say 2 columns. I didn't have to say what length, how much, bang. And I can just post it straight into my OneNote. And probably the
and
other
like the
thing,
legend you are, AP, you also shared that with all of us too, which is amazing. And I just want to touch on just a couple of things that you've said as well. I'm sorry to interrupt you, my friend, and take away your flow from you. But the way it was described during the Microsoft announcement by Yusuf Mehdi was, it's a handshake between you and technology, available when you need it and out of the way when you don't. And I think that really resonated with me, and everything you're saying, AP, that so much of the time it really does just pop up when you need it and provide you context and provide you more information. And the more that we use it, the more that we teach it, the more functionality it's going to be able to continue to provide us, which is just absolutely incredible, really being able to simplify the complexities that we're facing today, right?
Super duper. Absolutely. The other thing too I liked about it, and I won't keep talking, is that it's not just Windows too. I think there's, I'm not sure if we've got a video on this, Fletch. If we do, just play it after what I've got to say here. But integrating with the other devices and servers, I think, is massive. So it's not just Windows. We know we've got different phones and devices that we rely on. And I think if you've watched the stream, you've seen some of the demos. But being able to interact with your phone, for instance, and phone link in your calendar for contextual search and communication with people in your life. So when you say text Fletch, I don't have to go and find Fletcher's contact details. It already knows that's in my phone or my contact list, and it can send the text through phone link. And some other really, really cool things that are baked into Windows as well too, is like organize my windows. Now I'm absolute, I think I'm a pro at organizing windows. I've been doing it since Windows 10 and Windows 7 for that. But sometimes I just can't be bothered, or sometimes it's just too hard. I'm like, where do I need to put stuff? And the ability to be able to have like system controls with Windows, like organize my windows, and it just goes zap. I think that's going to be great for everyone, and kind of inspire or just help people get over the hump of all of these cool Windows features that they may not want to integrate with on a day-to-day basis. But sorry, Fletch, I cut you off.
No worries. I just wanted to dive into some of the stuff both of you have said. Like Hannah, you just quoted the complexity side of things, and AP was mentioning how it works with your devices and it really makes things simple. So what they actually put up on the screen during the live stream was, or the stream, I should say, it was after the fact, was really cool. So the first example of introducing Copilot was, asking about tourist destinations or places that you could go within a certain distance of a location. And I thought it was really cool that they were able to copy that information out of an email, like you said, AP, put it into Copilot, but then change it into understandable information. So make something that had, distances that was a little bit complex, a little bit abstract, maybe for our minds to think of, and put that into, get rid of everything that's more than 10 minutes walk away. I thought that was really, really cool. That really hits that complexity point, right? 0.2 miles, 0.5 miles, hard to understand. Less than 3 minutes, perfect.
100%, right? And I think what I really liked about the demos that, if you haven't watched the recap from Microsoft or the full announcement from Microsoft, we highly recommend checking that out as well. But I just kept pausing it and writing notes because I was just like, oh yeah, that got me real good the first time that I heard it. And talking to what you said, AP, in terms of how it can span across all of the different things we use and what you touched on there, Fletch. Another quote that I had to pause and write down was, it's a user experience scaffolding that cuts across devices, operating systems, and applications. And that's why we're announcing Copilot. That's its purpose. That's what it's here for. And just like you said, Fletch, digesting those things in such a simple format. We've been talking about a lot of some of these things already, right? We've been talking about Bing Chat and Bing AI and how we can work with that. But I think that what was announced overnight by us has absolutely just taken all of that to the next level, and how simple it's going to be to interact, how simple it's going to be to prompt, to simplify complex information, just like you said, Fletch, in a way that's much easier for us to resonate with and understand and action into our own lives, which is super, super important. But Fletch, my friend, what was one of the key things that resonated with you and stood out to you from the announcement?
Well, I really, really liked the way that AI is creating or working with images that already exist. So you would have seen in that trailer we played, Paint is getting a massive facelift based off AI, right? So it's getting, ability to add layers in. It's getting ability to design different features that suit images. So they got that really cool background created and put that behind the runner. There's also things like being able to use AI to generate fill for images. So if you have a photo, and on the stream they had a perfect example of someone taking a photo of a dog. They had I've seen an example of someone taking a photo of one of their loved ones out and about. And they wanted to not only get rid of elements in the background, which the AI did and then filled that space in the first place, but it was able to change the ratio. So you could make that photo have more, and AI generated that extra bits and pieces at the top, which I just found amazing. And I'm going to play a little bit of a video and talk to it, but going further into other places where you can create image generation, they're now changing the Bing image generation into DALL-E 3. So you can see here that there's been a prompt given to make a spaceship pilot with purple hair to Bing Chat. And it's using DALL-E 3, which is the next generation beyond what's already being used to create those. And like AP said earlier, talking with AI, it's conversational. So you don't have to go back if you want to change something and give the prompt again. They just said, hey, actually, can you add brown hair and maybe have some hair coming out of the helmet? And it did that. It remembered it was a spaceship pilot. It remembered that context and it put it there. Really cool stuff, right, Hannah?
I'm so there with you, Fletch, because if we take a step back to this time last year when we were talking about the initial announce of Microsoft Designer and how that was going to incorporate DALL-E 2, I was already on that DALL-E bandwagon, right? I was super excited, and we've been playing around with Microsoft Designer an awful lot, seeing what that image generation can do, and then bringing in all of that new stuff. I wasn't expecting it, and I couldn't believe it. I think for me, I've had such a great experience already playing around with that technology. I already think it's amazing. I already think it's incredible. But just like in that video you showed, Fletch, oh my goodness, it's getting even better, which I like. I just feel like it was a really like, but wait, there's more, you know, and talking about everything that's changed in the last year, how quickly AI has started to adopt it and do more with it, and utilize it in their lives and all of those kinds of things. Watching more and more and more come into this space, I can't wait. I can't even imagine what we're going to be talking about next year, right? What that's going to look like. But sorry, Fletch, keep going.
No worry. I just want to make sure that I can sorry, we're just so excited. But there's a few more things that I just want to highlight about it. So obviously the pictures just look better, but they've got better at things that AI have traditionally struggled with as well, like making sure there's 5 fingers on a hand rather than 6 or 7, making sure the eyes look good, and they're also making it really clear that when an image is generated, it actually gets a certificate. Like this is, and that certificate essentially says it's created with an AI. So there's so much of those things that people are becoming more conscious of getting added into that technology to make it even better and better as well. So love it. Love that they're listening to the people and just getting that super smooth experience.
Absolutely. All about listening to the people, all about creating informed technologies to help us do what we want to do and all of the things in life. I don't know why, like I say, sometimes it's the big things that stand out to us, but sometimes it's the little things that really get your attention, right? I have been guilty of being a huge fan of the snipping tool for a really long time. I think everybody knows Windows Shift and S is my favorite keyboard shortcut of all time. AP, I hope you're back and your technical difficulties are no longer plaguing you. Yes, we got a double thumbs up. That is great. But Windows Shift S, as you saw in there, with doing that and utilizing Copilot, how easy you were able. AP, I'm just going to drop you from the screen. Sorry, I'm getting feedback from myself.
Sorry.
But how easy it was to be able to remove the background. That was something that just hit me instantly. I've been doing that in PowerPoint for a long time. And I think what the announcement for me really showed was some of these sneaky things that I can do in other parts of Windows or Microsoft 365 or whatever it may be. Something that was once like a 10-step process is now completely not out of my control, but it's just done for me. Windows just knows. Windows Copilot and all of the AI functionality powering that is going to be able to do that for me, which is just absolutely amazing. But Fletch, do we have anything else that we want to touch on from the Windows side of things?
Oh, I mean that's such a that's a tougher question than there was just so much. Like you've just opened a candy box for me to try and choose things from. I think one thing that I would like to probably shout out is just that we're continuing to make the Windows 11 backup easier. I know we're going completely to something else, but it's something I'm very passionate about. And we got really good on Windows 11 when it released, but the ability to back up Windows and transition files with OneDrive, but also with other cloud backups is really, really cool. And it just means that it's even easier for customers to be able to set up their new device to come across, have that really smooth experience where just things come straight through. Even more of those settings and those things that you spend time personalizing your computer to have, those will come through as well. So it really becomes a cool experience where a customer can start up their computer for the first time, restore their backup on a Windows 11 PC, and just be able to get into it and enjoy what the PC has to offer without taking hours to do the setup, which not everyone loves to do, you know?
I absolutely love that, Fletch. AP, I feel like you want to chime in on that one because I know it's something that we've talked about for many years, right? The actual just process of setting up a Windows PC.
Exactly. Perfect timing. Good old headphones always for the win and making sure that doesn't feedback. Yeah, look, I think like the backup process has been okay for Windows for a while. the account has taken a lot of that sort of technical stuff across when it comes to settings, but there hasn't been a true file backup. And to be honest, it's been frustrating for me because you see the phone experience, regardless of what you do, it's pretty seamless from one to the other. And they use, the cloud for the provider or the cloud for the telco who's doing it. And it just works, right? And I think we're in that day and age where we should expect that. I want to get a new device. I've been putting off for a while. I don't want the mess. I don't want to have to do a computer science degree to be able to do this. Windows backup, bang, bang, and then I sign in and everything comes down and I can move on just like I should be able to. So I'm really looking forward to playing around with that, to seeing what it can and can't do. So that's just, I think it's going to be really exciting. And the fact that that's built in on top of all these AI features is just going to be pretty massive for people because it's just making it easy, right? And I'm all about easy.
100%. It just works. It just does it for you. It knows what you want almost before you even want it. I think for me, that is the most powerful part of AI, right? Just those initial prompts and how it can work with you and for you and all of those things. But Fletch, you've told me you've got one more thing before we move on to talking about the other thing that we want to talk about.
I have to be honest, Hannah, I'm a little bit shocked you didn't bring this up.
Okay. My bad.
Yeah, I'm a
my
bit
bad.
shocked, 'cause I know you've used the kind of early versions of this that was available. I know you actually put me onto this, but the shopping experience within Bing.
How could I not?
Yes.
Okay, bring it home, Fletch. What a great... How could I not mention it? Thank you.
No worries. So it was a great example again on the stream where you can now talk to Bing Chat and it will help you in your whole shopping experience. So if you know nothing about something that you're trying to buy for someone, cleats or rugby boots, stuff like that you're buying for nephews, nieces, people who are into sports, you can talk to Bing Chat and start to actually ask it questions about it, and it will give you product recommendations, which is great. You can give it the specific things those people require, and it will bring up options for you. But going even further than that, if you have a photo of something that they love, or they've got a pair of shoes or something that are broken and you want to replace them, you can take a photo of it and it will find that product or something similar to it online, which is just mind-blowing. Not even to mention what you put me on, Hannah, the coupons as well.
I know. There is a fun fact about how much money I can't find. $4 billion in savings in Microsoft Edge because of the coupons. Isn't that incredible? That's absolutely amazing. And I think that this is going to be fantastic for me. I was just thinking as you were talking there, Fletcher, my husband Graham plays guitar. He's got a lot of gear, but anyone who's, into music and things, you can never have enough gear. So taking a photo of his pedal board, being like, this is what he's got. Please tell me what he might like. What's missing? What could I add to this? I've got Christmas sorted, 110%. But speaking of having Christmas sorted, I think we should move across and talking about some of the new hardware that was announced overnight. I think, is that a hand up for one more, Fletch? It better not be because
it's always a one more.
No. I was just about to play the video. Don't worry. I'm just ready. Right. I'm excited to talk about this as well.
All right, amazing. Let's enjoy a sizzle video all together, friends.
I can't help it if I'm popping, see them watch like it's outrageous how this flavor got them shook like. Hold up. You can't play me, bring me in, or try and tame me. Oh my gosh, I feel fabulous. Show me how you gon' work it out. I hit it back with a brand new style. Bring it up into the floor, get wild. We turning up all the way on the down like work it out. Come and show me what you're all about. Bring it up into the floor, get wild. More than
What a bop. What a catchy tune. I always love the music that we get in these hype videos. I'm really glad that you couldn't see us like having a little boogie behind the video as it was playing there. But honestly, I think everything comes to life when you put it on a device, right? Obviously, there was lots that stood out about the Surface Laptop Go 3 itself, but seeing some of those Windows features and functionalities that we were just talking about in that video as well, seeing how they come to life on a brand new device is absolutely amazing. Fletch, I can see that you've asked the people in the chat, but gentlemen, what are your favorite colors of the Surface Laptop Go 3?
This.
Jordan's coming
Thank you,
strong with
AP.
Sage.
Jordan, I 100% green gang all the way. That's me. Love a good green.
Are you the same, AP?
I have to. I really don't like agreeing with Fletch at the best of times, but I'm definitely on green.
That's
I
why
actually
got
saw
him
them.
first.
I saw them at one
Yeah.
of our road shows, and it really is. And it's different, and it's really beautiful. I think that the team have done a really great job with the color there. I don't think I've seen any other device in anything like that. So it's really, really unique, and I like it. Bring the green to the PC. We've had enough black and silver for a while. Let's get some green on the team.
Absolutely. That beautiful sage green, ice blue sandstone, and our forever favorite trusty platinum. So, all of the opportunities to be able to personalize and customize your Surface experience to what it is that you like, what it is that speaks to your personality. What, Fletch?
What's your favorite color? You didn't
What's my
answer.
favorite color?
Yeah.
I can't decide. It's a real
roll.
It's a real toss-up between sage and ice blue, I think.
Ooh.
Yes.
I think like sage really wowed me. See, Lisa's team ice blue as well. Me and Lisa are practically the same person. People mistake us for each other all the time, and this is why. This is totally why. But of course, the Surface Laptop Go 3 is our lightest and most portable Surface laptop. So I think all of those things that showcase there, right? If you're an online creator, if you're using it for work or using it for study, I think that this is going to be an absolutely fantastic device for you. Of course, we've seen some updates from the previous generation of Surface Laptop Go 2, moving into Surface Laptop Go 3, in terms of specs and all of those kinds of things. Having that RAM boost. So we've got 8 or 16 gig, which I think is really important for a lot of people. And I think, of course, that's really important to be able to support all of these new features and functionalities that are coming to Windows, right, team?
Absolutely. Over time, you do just need the option to be able to get more RAM if you need it. And I think the fact that the Surface Laptop Go and Go 2 were so popular, people were asking for it, right? They were asking for more RAM. They were asking for more hard drive space too. So it's really cool that we've delivered that, because people just fell in love with this device. It's been flying out the door. I'm lucky, funnily enough, the one I've got at home is a Laptop Go 2 in ice blue, and I absolutely love it. I was watching a lot of the FIFA Women's World Cup on that device. So it's been a trusty one in the household.
Hosted right here in Australia and New Zealand, right?
That's very good time zone.
Just like you said, Fletch, I think that a lot of what we've loved from previous generations, of course, has still come through as well. The ability to sign on with your fingerprint, that really comfortable typing experience, and the base of this product is also made from 30% recycled materials as well, which is, sustainability is something that's incredibly important to Microsoft. We're working to be carbon negative by the year 2030. So seeing things like that coming across in our devices is super, super important as well. In the interest of time, though, friends, we need to keep this ball rolling. So we've talked about the lightest, most portable Surface laptop. But Fletch, if you're ready to roll the clip, let's talk about the most powerful Surface laptop. So good. Once again, that tune, that drop in the music as soon as they put the screen forward, oh, it gets me so good. So good. How do they do this to me? Once a year, every single time, I'm just like, my mind has been blown. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen, because I think everybody knows that I am super spoiled and I do use the Surface Laptop Studio every day for doing what I do. And I've used it every day for the last year. And I love this device so much. And the fact that, you know, it's saying double the CPU power in there. What? Like, as soon as I saw that video, I was just like, I cannot fully comprehend how they are making this device even better. I think that stood out to me. I think another thing that really stood out to me is the addition in ports that are coming to the Surface Laptop Studio 2, having a USB-A and a micro SD card reader. Oh my gosh. I need this device almost just for that. Like, all of the other things are amazing as well. But obviously this is really a device that's positioned for creatives, with the specs that are behind it and all of that kind of thing. So on all of the videos we make, being able to just pop that SD card right into my device, the dream. I'm really glad that, you know, once again, that's absolutely been consumer feedback that Microsoft have listened to and been like, everybody, we've heard you, we're going to bring it to Gen 2. But AP, I'm going to start with you this time. What really stood out to you in that video on the Surface Laptop Studio 2?
Everything. I feel like I already knew about some of this stuff, and then I saw it again, and I'm like, what? Just, I really love that we've. How do you, in my mind, how do you improve perfection, right? Obviously, we're always striving for perfection, for perfection. It's too early in the morning for these devices. And I just thought, like, you know, what we achieved with that before, I just went, I don't even know how we've done that with an amazing engineering team, but the nuances that we've changed in the new device, like we talked about the ports, right? Listening to the customer, need a USB-A, but especially I thought some really smart additions to this is micro SD, right? Because it's a creator device, right? And what are you going to pull straight out of your SLR or straight out of your video camera? It's going to be that, right? To have less ports, less connectors straight into the device, or you can just expand the memory of your device too, right? If you've got a huge amount of files, you can just make that an external hard drive without it having to hang out of the side. And the other one that I love for all the audio nerds out there is that we've got a 3.5mm jack back, which is cool. I have a Tidal subscription and just upgraded their streaming rate to FLAC, which is completely lossless audio. So you'll be able to run that straight out into your headphones and enjoy a very nice audio experience on that device, as you should be able to as well too. I don't want to steal any thunder from Fletch. Not if anyone picked up on this.
Before we pass to Fletch, though, I know that APU are currently using a Surface Pro 9 5G, and you've had some of those great experiences with the MPU processor there in the Windows Studio and all of those kinds of things. I'm really excited. And I think, you know, obviously I've been reading off notes for a lot of this chat because I just want to make sure I include everything. But things like, you know, being able to direct my eyes back to where I'm talking and all of those kinds of things, right? Are you super excited to see that experience stretching across to more devices?
We've been working together for far too long. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think improvements across the time, not that there was anything wrong with the camera before, but I think more diverse working and creating spaces, the wider field of view for the camera is awesome, because we're not just having meetings with one person now, having meetings with two, and just widening that out. But something you may have noticed, the studio effects, like you just mentioned about eye contact and also centering and focus, and also background audio that's built in. You need to have an NPU for that. So the only device before now that we had with an NPU on board was the Pro 9 5G, and now we've got the NPU built into the hardware of the Surface Laptop Studio 2. So that's just kind of taking it to the next level. Not only, and I'm sure you're going to talk about it, we've got an amazing discrete GPU built in there to do lots of creative stuff, but we don't have to rely on the GPU and the power that it sucks to be able to do some of those controls, where we can use AI and we can use the NPU and do it efficiently on the device and just move on and do the things that we need to do. So that is really, it's just amazing stuff, right, that we've managed to squeeze that in.
Right, big deal. First Intel processor with NPU. Before we were talking about this so much with Qualcomm, but it's the first Intel one. So sorry, AP. Just
Right,
you
that's
both
what it is.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and
Really?
It's
we
a
just
massive
feed
deal.
feed off the hype
Mm.
together, right? Fletcher, probably is your turn to tell us your favorite.
Because I've talked too much like usual. Sorry.
No, funnily enough, my real the real thing that did stand out to me was the ports, which we've all hammered pretty hard, but I think like AP said, with it being a video editing dream, a powerhouse of productivity, people who generally get into that stuff have devices and accessories that span like quite a time frame, right? So being able to even just plug a USB-A in is really cool. But you know what? I'll change tacks. I think when it comes to the laptop studio, more than any other Surface device, specs are important. Specs are important. So not only is it twice as powerful because of things like this world first Intel NPU, but it's also going up to 64 gig of RAM now, which is massive for the people which this device is designed for. What a dream. What a dream
What a
for a video
dream.
editor.
What a dream. And I think that was something that got me. Specs aren't usually my bag. I think everybody knows that. But I think that once again, like in terms of what a PC can do for you now, having something that is still really light and portable in comparison to what a device with those specs would have been a few years ago. I think that that's such an amazing feat. And in the form factor, being able to bring that screen down into stage mode and studio mode, absolutely fascinating. They showed some really cool demos of something that Fletch touched on earlier, using Adobe Firefly generative AI. In the Microsoft announcement, they use the example of removing some buildings from a picture and then making a landscape, a portrait picture, a landscape picture, and adding in additional things there. So absolutely incredible, amazing. I think there were so many wow moments for the laptop studio for me, but I think that one that was kind of touched on in the sizzle video for it, but one that, oh my gosh, it got me. We're preparing for the stream, and I'm just sitting there with like tears streaming down my face. Was the amazing Solomon Stone Romney. AP and I have been lucky enough to meet him in person and hear him speak before at an event a few years ago, a little while ago. But since hearing Solomon speak about accessibility and the importance of inclusivity many years ago, I don't think I've ever thought about it in the same way since. I think that his influence on the way that Microsoft developed for people with disabilities is absolutely incredible. And I've always thought the precision haptic touchpad on the laptop studio was pretty cool, but now it's absolutely incredible. If you didn't see the Microsoft announcement, Solomon shares, quite a lot of personal information, which is always inspiring. But Solomon was born with no fingers on his left hand, and so he's had to adapt over his life to doing everything right-handed, which has meant that, he's experiencing RSI and what am I thinking? Arthritis. Thank you, Fletcher. It's really affecting and impacting his joints. So what you're now able to do with the Surface Laptop Studio 2 is go into your settings and press on a button called Adaptive Touch, which means that now that trackpad can interact with his left hand, and he can use gestures and things like that. You can change how it's set up to work with, to work with what you've got. He said he cried the first time that he used it, and I was just like, I feel you, man. That's just such an incredible and such a compelling story. And accessibility has always been really important to Microsoft. It has always been really important to Windows. We've talked about, adding in some of those narration features, or being able to listen to all text fields in Windows as well. So just incredible. And I think that lots of really powerful things with this device, but I think if one got me real good in the feels, I think it was absolutely that one.
Amazing. So much stuff.
It's crazy. And just
so much
being
stuff.
able to give someone an experience that they've never been able to have before, right? Even someone as like crazy technical as Solomon is, like he pioneers most of these accessibility things for Microsoft, right? But the fact that even with his like massive knowledge and massive ability, that something like this was completely new to him, and the ability to use it in the way that he should be able to was so new. Just like, same here, Hannah, just amazing moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, friends, I said we were going to talk for about half an hour. And then I said, realistically, it's probably going to be more like 45 minutes. But I know that we do have just a couple more things that we want to share before we close out, right? AP, I believe you've got something else for the people.
Oh, I do. And I've had a senior moment, and I've called something the wrong thing.
Okay.
So it's not an MPU; it's a VPU, which is a visual processing or a vision processing unit, and that is part of the Intel Gen 3 Movidius VPU. So that's what drives it. So very similar in operation to an NPU. The NPUs sit on the mobile processor platform. VPU sits on the Intel platform. So just wanted to call that out before anyone starts telling things. It's the same as the Pro 5G. It's similar. It does the same stuff, but it's a different piece of technology that's doing it. That's all. Just wanted to call that out there for the people. Don't like being wrong. I don't know. I just said a lot of
thank you, AP.
acronyms,
That is always important. The technicalities of it fly straight over my head. But what it empowers me to do, I think, is what is the most important. And that functionality is absolutely incredible. And I'm really looking forward to getting hands-on with it and trying it out for myself. Fletch, is there anything else that you have to add before we close out today's stream?
Absolutely. Let me show you.
Oh, of course.
Ooh.
Go for it.
When it comes to creativity, sometimes getting started is the hardest part. But how about when you want to add a visual to a text-heavy document? Now, with the new Designer integration in Copilot, you can effortlessly bring your ideas to life visually. Designer uses the context of your document to propose some visuals to choose from, and you can make it more personal by uploading your own photos. Within moments, you can create a custom graphic right in your document. Designer is the latest addition to our family of Microsoft 365 consumer apps. Powered by new generative AI, it allows you to create and edit visuals, giving you everything you need to make your project pop. Within moments, Designer quickly transitions your idea into a custom graphic with options to choose from. Once you select a design, you can customize your graphic further with new generative AI image editing features. Need to erase that unwanted object in the background? Like perhaps someone or something that takes away from the true star of your photo. Just hover and click. And sometimes your picture may not fill the full frame, but now you can expand any image to really make it shine. Done. You can even add an entirely new object. Or maybe you just want to mix it up a bit. By leveraging the DALL-E 3 image editing model, it's as simple as using your imagination and your words. What used to require specialized software and photo editing skills can now be done in just a few clicks.
So, you know me, I'm a huge fan of Microsoft 365. So, in between the enterprise conversations they had on that and the Windows announcements and the Surface announcements was this little glowing nugget of information. So this isn't available yet. I've got to say that. This is a look into the future. But Copilot will eventually be getting integrated into the Microsoft 365 consumer space. So to me, seeing particularly that designer feature in Word was very exciting because, you know, I go online, I see the memes, put one image in Word and the whole document falls apart. Well, guess what? That's your fault because you're not changing the image format. I'll leave that alone.
I don't know if you can say that.
Maybe I can't say
You
that.
totally can.
But I'm very excited that there's now an option similar to PowerPoint where Designer will come into play with Copilot, design an element, and get rid of something that, let's be honest, as much as I said that, is a challenge for people, right? And it's something that you don't know about unless you know about. So having that come in easy is amazing. But there was also a great showcase of some of that image conversation that Hannah mentioned with filling up the space, changing dimensions of a photo, and removing those background images and such. So very, very excited, very cool peek into the hopefully not too distant future.
Fletch, I love how quietly and patiently you sat on that one forward, that you let us like totally change gears, and then you were just like, but I'm not letting this go because we've got to tell the people everything. I think that my mind is blown. My brain has been melted. I think we've only touched on, I think, a fraction of everything that was announced, right, team? We've really done our best to collate as much as we possibly could. Like I say, I've got notes next to me so I can really touch on as many things as we need to, but there's always going to be more. We're going to learn a lot more about this as it starts to roll out. AP, what date are the new features of Windows coming to devices?
They are, I'm glad you asked that. They are starting to roll out on the 27th here in Australia. So like we saw with Windows.
And New Zealand, just saying.
Yes, and New Zealand, yes, of course, because that is the real country. Yeah, so we're studying, it's going to be a staged rollout like we had for the other Windows updates, just to make sure that everything's going to work nicely across devices. Because this is a software that's not dependent on hardware, I think it will be a quicker rollout. We don't have any visibility into that at the moment. But if you have the toggle in Windows updates set on accept new updates straight away and install, you'll be one of the first people to receive the update. So that's super exciting. Usually we sort of say this stuff and it's like 6 months down the track, but it's not. It's literally 5 days away. So that's not too much. That's not too much of a wait. So that's really exciting.
You heard the man. Make sure that you've got the right things toggled on in your settings so you can get to try out all of the latest features and functionalities as soon as they start rolling out. In terms of Surface devices, we're seeing those come into stores on the 3rd of October. So once again, really, really soon, friends. The wait is not long for you to be able to utilize these things, get your hands on some beautiful new devices. But Fletch, you've been patient and quiet once again, and I can just see in your eyes that you have something you want to say.
No, you don't.
No. Okay. I read that wrong. Isn't that amazing? Wonderful. Okay.
Sorry, Hannah.
Cool. As I was saying before, obviously we've digested a lot of information really, really quickly. We've been so excited to share it with all of you, but we're going to keep updating you as we process all of this, as we know more. So make sure that you head on over to expertzone.microsoft.com, our online learning channel, where we've got lots of content coming in to keep you fully up to date on this. Of course, we will be getting hands-on with all of these devices, all of these functionalities. So make sure you are following us on all of the social media channels, on the Book of Faces, on YouTube where you're watching us now, or Facebook or YouTube where you're watching us, on Instagram, so you can see all of our first experiences and first looks at these devices, at these features, and all of the amazing things that we do with them. But we really want to hear what you do with them as well. I think for me, and this announcement in particular, thinking of how I'd use it is one thing, but seeing how other people are using it, oh my goodness, I cannot comprehend everything that this is going to unlock for anybody using a Windows 11 PC, which is super, super exciting. And I cannot wait to really kind of go on this next wave of technology with all of you. But I think, you know, I said half an hour, then I said probably more like 45 minutes, and we are definitely well over time, friends. So I think that it is time for us to leave you to your days. But thank you so much for joining us. Any final words, gentlemen? No.
Enjoy all the new stuff.
Enjoy it. Toggle on for updates.
Toggle on for updates. Thank you so much for joining us to recap everything that happened in the Microsoft event for 2023, and we'll have so much more information for you coming. Thank you, Stephen. Always good to see you, my friend. And thanks everyone else who's joined us on the stream, and we'll have so much more information coming for you in the coming weeks.